Hello friends, welcome back to another day of practicing hand lettering with me. Today I'm going to be using this worksheet set again that has our basic strokes on it, and then maybe I will switch to, I'm planning on switching to freehand when I am able. So either at the end of this video or maybe tomorrow, we'll see how this goes. But I do want to try to take my time. This is the one I did from Monday. And as you can see, my first strokes, my pen was on its last life. So I am throwing away that pen, and I thought that I would use these Sharpie Creative markers. These are, let's see, these are the original ones. I recently saw a video where they showed their new pack and they had changed. They didn't look like this on the inside anymore. I do want to point out that I have not tried those. So if you're looking for this marker specifically, I can link these ones in the description box, but this is not their newest Sharpie Creative markers. But I do really like these ones. I just haven't tried the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and just do pink. Actually, let's do green. I think the green shows up pretty nicely. So my goal here today, and if you are practicing with me, my goal here today is to just take it really slowly and focus on kind of that like slow, meditative, relaxing, calming practice of just slowing down and following these strokes. Now, I do want to say you don't have to use printables at all. But if you are on my email list, and you have been since this week, when this video goes live, you should have received an email with these printables. So make sure to check that if you have not seen those already. But if you are looking for those later on, check the description box and I will try to figure out a way to share these later. And so that is my goal today, is just take it really slowly. It's really easy for me to rush through something like this and want to like get on to the next thing. But the whole point here is slowing down, taking it slow, and relaxing, and just finding a few minutes in my day to practice. I know that drills probably don't seem like super exciting to people, but really this is kind of where that foundation is laid and what makes, in my opinion, what makes hand lettering enjoyable. If you're constantly struggling with shaky up strokes or not knowing how to use your brush pen, or your brush pen's frustrating you, that is not enjoyable to me. What makes hand lettering enjoyable is seeing the smooth lines come out and just feeling how nice it is when it flows nicely. It kind of reminds me of math. I don't know. I read this article, or I don't know if I read the whole article, but I heard it alluded to a lot in like homeschool circles, where they talk about math and how it's not like super fun when you're in those younger years. And so a lot of people want to make math really fun, and I get that works well for some learners. So that's not to say that that's not the right choice. I have used different math curriculum for different children, and that is what they've needed. So I'm totally on board with that idea. But I did hear a lot of talk about the idea that maybe math isn't like supposed to be super fun. And the whole point is to kind of like drill those foundational concepts in math into their heads so that when it gets harder, they find this like joy, and it's like super rewarding to realize that you know what you're doing. And I have actually found that to be very true with my oldest, who I've been homeschooling since kindergarten. I don't really count like preschool, but just we've always homeschooled. And just because it was my first time through, I did a more classical approach to math where we did a lot of practice, sorry, that was my fireplace. A lot of practice drills, a lot of math memory work. And there were definitely times where I thought like, okay, this is not like, is this right? Because this is a lot. This is a lot of math problems in a day. And I will say, now in pre-algebra and like junior high, I am seeing the benefit of that, because it is getting harder, but it's not for that child because those basic concepts are so ingrained into their brain that their favorite subject is math. And that is just so shocking to me, like, because, you always hear about people hating math, which, don't get me wrong, I understand we are all different. And so some people just probably are never going to like math. But I think there is this part of education where when you see something that's difficult, but you've practiced the basics so much that you kind of just get it, it is more rewarding and more enjoyable. And so I'm kind of like, I'm like thinking back to that article from, 9-10 years ago where that's what they were saying. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're right. But again, I also know that we're all different. And for some kids, that's just not the way that they learn best. So that's not to say it's one size fits all by any means. But my point is, I also see a lot of benefit in really getting the basics down, not just because you should or it's the right thing to do, but because that's kind of what makes the harder stuff enjoyable. Because you're like, okay, well, this is hard, but because I've been doing this for so long, it actually wasn't that hard. And now I just accomplished something that felt kind of intimidating. And I realized, it's not that. It was easier than maybe I thought it would be. So that is my push for forever practicing hand lettering practice drills. Not, I shouldn't say forever and only, but as a warm up or just when you don't know what to letter. I just don't think it's a bad idea to kind of go back to the basics. So I think I might finish this in under 10 minutes, even going pretty slowly. So I don't know where you are at this page or with this in this part of the practice if you're doing it freehand, but I have almost one line left to go. And I never did switch to my pink marker. That's okay. So this pen is kind of like a paint pen, and I haven't really tried to use it on other things, but I imagine you could, the way it dries. You can kind of see it up here. It reminds me of acrylic. It doesn't say that on here. It might on the box. I don't have it with me. But these are pretty fun markers to use. You do want to shake them up every once in a while. ArtX has similar markers. I know there are more brands, but I'm losing them off the top of my head. But acrylic markers like this are pretty fun to use. And in my house, they get used for lots of projects once people steal them from me. But these ones I have not been stolen yet, so. All right. So I would love to hear how it's going for you, how your practice is going, and if you're finding this enjoyable, or if you have anything else that you would like to practice. I know I mentioned in another video watercolor, or if you have like a specific style you want to practice or things like that, I would love to hear back. I've kind of wanted to take the first couple of weeks to really get some foundational practice done, but as I hear more of your feedback and get a feel for what would be really helpful for you guys, I would love to kind of adjust to make something that is really helpful. So please do let me know, and I would love to hear how it's going and what would be helpful for you in the comments below, or if you're on my email list, you can always reply to my emails. I'm not always able to respond to every single one, but I do read them all, and if you have any tips or feedback or things that would be helpful for you, you can always feel free to reply to those emails as well. I know I'm not like a huge YouTube commenter, and so definitely don't feel like you have to stop and leave a comment. You can reply to those emails as well, and that would be really helpful. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening if you're watching this in the evening, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.